My name is Jason Scott. I'm the staff liaison to this task force. This is the Sustainable Rocky Hill CET Task Force. I'm not usually the one that runs these meetings, but since we kind of have a fresh start and a lot of new membership in this task force, I thought it might be a great opportunity to take a step back and talk a little bit about what we do. And we're going to need to vote on our leadership. And so until we get a task force chair voted in, I'm going to run the meeting. And then hopefully at that point, that person will be able to take over. And I will be working with that chair to help guide and shape this group. And I should have prepared more formal remarks, but one of the things that I think that's really important about this group is that we can take a lot of information from the public and from our interests in trying to help our community and work with the town council to try to promote some ideas that we think might make Rocky Hill a more sustainable place. One of the frameworks for that the town has decided to use is Sustainable CT, which is a fund that's been created and operated through UConn. A lot of the funds that they've received is through charitable donation, both from private companies as well as various trusts and other NPOs. And what they would like to do is to try to increase different sustainability initiatives and help fund them around the state of Connecticut. So they've tried to prepare a framework that municipalities like ours can use to try to focus on some things that they may be able to help support. So Rocky Hill worked with a consultant to try to see where they were at in terms of trying to gain an initial certification from Sustainable CT. All right, so our last member has arrived. So, one of the first things on our agenda is to perform a roll call. So, would you like to start?
Oh yeah, I'm Harita Nagabandi.
Michael Devaney.
Jack Alward.
John Roderick.
Simon Koser.
And I'm Jason Scott. And from Zoom, we have our other member.
Talking or is he on?
He's on silent, so we can't hear him.
Or he may be on another call.
He might be on another call. That's Robert Downs. He is also present. Moving on to the next item in our agenda, appointments and resignations. We don't have any resignations, but what we do have are reappointments of 3 of our members, as well as appointments for 3 new members. And a 4th member, a new member was just appointed at Monday's meeting, but I don't believe he's going to be able to make it this evening because I couldn't reach out to him in time. So I'm going to try to limit what we do this evening because of that. I would really like to have him present for the early stages of this. So I thought maybe what we could do is one at a time, just please introduce yourselves and just give us some information about who you are. And that way the group gets to meet you and the public gets to meet you if they haven't met you before, and I can learn a little bit more about you too. So, same order.
Yeah, I'm Harita Nagabandi. We have been here in Rocky Hill for, I would say, my son is 20 years now, so for 21 years in Rocky Hill. Both my kids are, my older one graduated from Rocky Hill High School. Now he's a major in UConn. My younger one is he's studying in high school. He's a sophomore. I'm a software engineer by profession, and I have been part of the task force for 2 years. Before even the task force was formed, I was volunteering for the sustainable certification.
Michael Devaney. I've been in town. I left for probably 2 or 3, but on and off for the most part 30 years. 3 kids. I have a freshman at the high school. My son just graduated UConn in December, and my daughter graduated undergrad at UConn and went to Suffolk University, finished grad school, and is getting married in November. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a plumber steam fitter. Out of that and into being an inspector, so I'm a boiler inspector for the state of Connecticut.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jack Elward. I've been here, I don't know, I'm probably here 30 years too. I have two daughters who went to Rocky Hill High School, and they both graduated, and they're both working now. And I'm retired, and I used to work for Travelers Insurance Company. And before that, I worked for the Aetna in insurance. I'm happy to be here.
John Roderick. I'm a cybersecurity professional. I do a lot of consulting, cloud security specifically. My family and I have been in town about 25 years. My oldest daughter will be going to college in the fall. My youngest will be a junior at Rocky Hill High in the fall. I volunteer for several other committees and boards, economic development, zoning board of appeals, volunteer fireman, so pretty active in the community.
Great. Just because we're still going in order. My name's Jason Scott. I introduced a little bit about myself before. I work for the engineering department, so I serve under the town engineer, and I manage construction projects for the town, dealing with consultants and contractors, mostly for roadway and sidewalk work. I also do a lot of the inspection for that type of work, as well as all the private utilities that work in town. And I've had an interest in sustainability for a long time now, so I'm kind of looking forward to working with a task force like this. I started in Rocky Hill back in 2022. I've worked for 6 other communities in 2 other states besides Connecticut, so this is my second town in Connecticut, with the goal of this being my last job. So I'd like to stay with this community for about 25 more years and really get to know what I don't know. And one of the benefits of being an engineer in a municipality is you get to find out what the problems are and really get a chance to dig in and try to fix them. And you see what works and what doesn't work, so that you can learn from mistakes and successes and always try to improve yourself. So I think my goal has always been to try to improve the communities I've worked for. I live in Massachusetts, but I commute down here every morning, so the carbon footprint that I produce every day is something that worries me. Trying to help here, maybe alleviate some of my guilt from that. I've been with the task force now for a year, and I've learned a lot, and will continue to learn a lot from members past and present. Our former chair is definitely interested in passing on what he's developed and what he's learned to the new chair to make sure that there's strong continuity. I think there's going to be some great work coming out of this group. So, Simon, you want to go next?
Yes. My name is Saima, and I've been a Rocky resident for 23 years. I have 4 kids. They all went through Rocky Hill public school system. They were in and out. Some of them ended up going to a magnet school, but my daughter has already graduated and married, and I have 2 boys who are in undergrad, one at Central, the other one is at UConn, and my youngest one is a high school junior, but he goes to a magnet school. And I've been part of this task force since before it was officially declared as a task force, like 2 years ago, where we were, since then. And professionally, I'm a student. I'm in my master's program, almost done, graduating in May, in health sciences. And before that, my background was in plant biology, so I worked with the DEEP at Dinosaur State Park as a plant biologist, and also work as an interpreter in 3 other different languages. So.
Excellent.
Robert just texted me.
Ah.
He was speaking and you couldn't hear him.
Ah.
You want me to call him and he can go on?
Yeah, Robert, if you can hear us, we're going to try calling you and see if that works. If we can get some audio that way.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I could hear you guys just fine. I don't know, I guess so I'll go like this. Thank you, I'm sorry, thank you, Mike, for getting the text. I appreciate it.
Did you get my number from your mom?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, yeah, no, she told me to say that you so I'm sorry, so I must have messed up the flow of I'm not sure you guys left out. I apologize.
Well, we were just kind of going through it and getting some introductions from our members. So we thought maybe you'd like to jump in at this point and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here. And
Sure, yeah. So my name is Robert. On the screen, I guess you can see it, Robert Downs. I have been in Rocky Hill for my entire life, aside for the 4 years that I attended undergraduate. Now I'm in grad school. I'm pursuing my doctorate degree in political science at UConn. And I guess my area of focus would be environmental political theory and environmental public laws. So looking at the intersection between what we might call our ethics and morals on the environment and the actual public policy of how we implement that. And I'm very, I believe in grassroots efforts, very much into municipal, civic, community engagement. Hence why the task force has been very worthwhile. And it was in our first year we got a lot done. We threw a lot of events. We met a lot of our different goals. So just to be, I'm really honored is the right word, to be a part of this sort of a generative process and hopefully do some good for all other 20,000 Rocky Hill residents.
oh, that was excellent. Thank you. So I was going to open the floor to public comments. I haven't received anything in my email, so I have nothing to present, and we don't have any visitors here in person. So I think we're going to move on from that section and take a look at our meeting minutes for approval from our last meeting, which sadly was back in December, with a slow start in getting our members appointed. This is our first meeting of 2024. So because I'm a non-voting member and because I'm running the meeting, I'm not going to be able to make a motion to approve these minutes, but is there a task force member that would like to make that motion?
I can make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll be looking for a motion to nominate for the council.
A motion to accept minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got messed up on the officers. I'll make a motion to accept the prior minutes. Yeah.
Great. All right, and vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstaining? No? Anyone no? Abstaining? Okay. All right, so moved. The report from the task force chair, that's something that's normally a part of our meeting. I am not the task force chair, but I thought I might take a moment, just a short moment, to talk about where we're at and what we hope to accomplish. If it's possible to share my screen.
Should I grab a cord to plug him in? Because I don't have much battery on there, so if you want to keep him on there, I can grab a cord.
I've got one. You can pause for just a moment. I think I can get a cord.
Does our IT guy know that we don't have sound for him?
He's right in the other room, so he's monitoring. How much power do we have left here?
Just tap the screen.
Let's see. I think you'll probably be okay. Okay, so we'll try to keep this short. If we can, yeah, great. We'll share my screen. Currently, Rocky Hill has gotten their first certification from Sustainable CT. So we're one of 33 bronze certified communities in Rocky Hill, which is kind of the first step in trying to achieve some of the sustainability goals that Sustainable CT has recommended for communities in Connecticut. Currently, there's 24 certified silver level communities and only one gold. It takes quite a few actions to work on to get to the gold level. But as you'll see in a moment, we're well on our way to achieving silver certification this year. And getting to gold is not as far away as it sounds. So we may actually be one of the leaders in the state of Connecticut with a little bit more work. So, I'm just going to jump to another graphic, which some of you have seen this before. This is on our website, and I'm sorry, I should probably zoom out just a little bit here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So what you see in purple and gold and green, those are the types of things that have gotten us to the point that we're currently at bronze certification, and has also brought us into the realm of achieving silver. Currently, with things that we are completed, we're well over 460 points. With other things that we have currently started and promised to start by our town council, we're actually well on our way to silver. And if we can complete some of these items that you see in pink, then we should be able to achieve silver status later this year. I think the next deadline for the silver certification is the end of April. So we're getting close. And unfortunately, I'm going to be off for 2 weeks starting Friday. So that's something I'm probably going to have to look at after I return. But I can get the process started. We've already developed some of the necessary paperwork to include as part of the certification in the last part of last year. So if we can just work on some of these items over the next few months, I think we've got a good chance of making silver in April. And if not, then certainly later this year.
Would you be able to share this presentation by email with us?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yep.
Just because it's hard to read all.
Oh, sure, of course. And this is available to anyone who's listening at home. You can go to our website, and if you go under the link for our Sustainable CT group, you'll find progress towards Sustainable CT certification here on the left. And each of these items, you can hover over it, and it will give you information about where we're at. And it references one of the 13 actions that are listed under Sustainable CT's program, and then kind of where our status, our achievement of each of these items. The nice thing is that this task force serves as a grassroots organizer, community outreach group, as well as an advisory role to the town council. So some of these actions we've been able to undertake amongst our own leadership and with the help of some of our community members, and then there's other actions that have required a significant outlay from town forces. For example, like the Rocky Hill Community Farm, Stratska Farm, the western part of town, that's been a big outlay. That's something that we hope to have as a community farm on part of that property soon. We've had a lot of soil that we've had to excavate to eliminate pollution that was on site. That material has now been excavated, and we've been wrapping up backfill material to bring that back to a grade to improve access to the site. And a barn has been ordered, and a barn will be delivered very, very soon. So we're preparing a pad for that now. And after that barn's in place, we'll be able to start working on some walkways and trails, and hopefully get the community farming going in the near future. As for the status of that phase of it, the community farming end of it, I'm not sure where we're at on that. I would need more information from the town manager and the council. But things are progressing, and I'm looking forward to that opening up to the public soon. I think that'll be a great community space, and I think some good things can come from that site. Some of the other things that we're working on is a climate and vulnerability assessment. There's a workshop that we're preparing now that we hope to conduct here very soon. It's a combination of staff and members of the public, people that respond to emergencies and climate disasters and things like that, as well as the people that could suffer from things like that. So we can get some input from the community about how best to prepare hazard mitigation plans so that we can try to make sure that our town is resilient to bad weather, fires, any of the things that can happen in a community like this. And it's a free seminar run by the Nature Conservancy that's funded through Sustainable CT, so it costs the town nothing other than a a little bit of time to set up. But with that, we hope to get some really good feedback from the people that work to protect this community, as well as the people that live in this community, so that we can develop a strong response in the event of emergency situations like that, and take that planning and the concepts that we develop in that meeting and input that in our plan on conservation and development, and our other hazard mitigation planning that we do in town. So we'll be able to actually produce tangible documents that we can include in some of the other things that we do in town. So I think it might be a great way to kind of streamline what we do and make us as efficient and useful as possible. One of the other things, this was actually, I was very proud of this task force's planning and implementation of a composting pilot. The town's been working on getting a program off the ground for food scrap collection in town, and they've hit some roadblocks, and it's taken longer than they've wanted to implement.
Okay, so it's not implemented at this point?
It's partially implemented.
Because I go there all the time, and I've never.
Right. So currently, we have a food scrap drop-off available now at our transfer station in town. Yep.
Green bin.
Yep. So it's a small green bin. Generally, food waste that a family produces, it's in a pretty small volume compared to municipal solid waste. So that's something that you could fit in a small bag or a small container. Yeah. There's a bin available for the public if they want to come down to the transfer station during their hours of operation, which in the winter months is only Saturdays. But as the weather warms up here at the end of the month, we're going to start switching to back to the 3-day week schedule. So that you can bring your food waste there as long as you have ID showing that you're a town resident. You'd be able to drop off your food waste for no charge. And we're diverting that material from our waste stream. Unfortunately, there's not enough landfill space in Connecticut to handle the amount of waste that Connecticut residents produce. So this is a way to divert some of that into something that stays out of the landfill. In this case, that bin is picked up by town staff, brought to Southington, and it's converted to energy through an anaerobic digestion process. We are also hoping to develop a curbside collection program. That's still on the drawing board, but that's something that the town would like to do. They've gotten a grant to do a pilot program on that. Early concept was just one part of town, just like a neighborhood, and try it out. I think now they're looking to expand that possibly townwide. I have not heard anything recently on that, so I'm not exactly sure what the current status is. That's obviously something that the town would like to try to develop and try out. So that would be, running, in tandem with our waste collection. Our waste hauler, I believe, would be picking up this waste, but it'd be, a separate container, and then that would ultimately, also I think be going to Southington to this anaerobic digestion. Until that gets off the ground, another option was proposed and created by this task force. Basically, there's a crowdfunding option through Sustainable CT that if a nonprofit or a community wants to raise funding, they would match either at a level of 1-to-1 through the money that they've raised from these charitable organizations, or in this case, because it was for food waste diversion, and that's such interest to the state of Connecticut that they were matching, I think, 1.5-to-1. Yeah, so they actually put in more money towards the program even than what this group was able to run through their crowdfunding campaign. But at the end of the day, after the money was collected and the grant given to the town, we were able to use that pile of funds for offering free collection for 52 homes for 6 months. And so a company called Blue Earth, which operates out of West Hartford, I believe, they agreed to come to town, and they will do curbside collection for any resident in Rocky Hill that's interested in signing up. So it's not included with your normal trash collection. This would be something that a resident would have to contract with Blue Earth. But to try to get some interest, we were able to get some funding for these 52 households to be able to participate with Blue Earth for 6 months. So we're going to be getting some feedback on that. One of my coworkers is actually one of the raffle winners. So she ended up being lucky enough to get a hold of that, so I get weekly updates from her. And
I'm too. I was a
oh, you were also one? Okay. So this, yeah, we you know, the raffle winners, we had no say on who they were.
It was raffle winners, those were people that selected?
Yeah. So it's
Sign
like,
up.
Oh, he's just, okay.
yeah. So it's
So there was more people that wanted it than got selected?
we hope that by having that available to town residents, we needed a certain minimum number of committed customers for them to be able to come to our community.
Yeah.
And so we've achieved that, and that means now that anybody who's interested in town would be able to sign up if they choose to. And until we get our town program off the ground, if you want to divert some of the waste from your waste stream and say, you don't have time to make it to the transfer station, or it just doesn't, conflicts with your schedule, you can always have curbside collection at your house if you're willing to pay for the fee. And they provide the container. It's a small container, it's not large, but for most families, that's more than enough. And they come every other week.
Every Tuesday.
Oh, it's every
And
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday they come, and I have seen. I was like curious, how does the pickup work? So they give a biodegradable bag. So you put it in the bin, and they just dump that, and they give you a new bag and leave it there. So it's working out.
That's
I'm so
fantastic.
happy with the service they provide. And
can I, oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, no, I just wanted to give a bit of background on how we organize that, because it kind of shows you, what we do and then how Sustainable CT sort of complements, or, we work together in a sense, or we can take advantage of their resources. So please, Jason, Haritha, Saima, fill in the gaps, but we set up a crowdfunding campaign of, residents or whoever wanted to contribute, and we set a threshold, because once we got to that threshold, let's say it was $2,500, we know that we could ask Sustainable CT to give us matching funds, so that's another $2,500. And then effectively, at that point, we had $5,000 to incentivize Blue Earth to come. But people can hopefully make use and and participate in the service as it gains popularity. But I think one of the things, right, that part of that whole process is those who contributed to the crowd fund. Or I'll say this, you did not have to make a donation and contribute to the crowd fund to then be one of those people that put their name in for the raffle. So it was always, just trying to give it to as many residents as possible. But I guess that's just some of the behind the scenes stuff of how we can raise money, how Sustainable CT can help us raise money, and then how we can actually do that to do some good for the town.
And I think what's nice about that crowdfunding is that that's available for other tasks that this group may want to implement in the future. We may be able to take advantage of some of those funds if there's some sort of activity that you'd like to have this group participate in. And with the town council's blessing, I think there's quite a bit that we can do with Sustainable CT's help. And there's also other avenues as well. There's a lot of different ways that we can achieve sustainability. There's a lot of different measures for it. It doesn't have to solely be what's in Sustainable CT, but it's a good framework, and it's something to see some measurable progress and see how we're doing. And I think it's a good start. I think too, a lot of the programs that you may choose to undertake is benefited by the individual experiences of each of these members and the members of the public that you all get a chance to meet through the things that you do and the time that you serve as a volunteer either with the town or other activities that you participate in. I think you're bringing that knowledge here as well for the rest of us to learn from and share. And I'm already seeing like some very impressive things. It makes me happy to see the community working together and helping yourselves, and you're helping the town government as well. You're doing some real solid work to try to make this as good of a community as you can. And I hope that the undertakings that you folks take on this year, I hope you're proud of it, and I hope that the people that you know, I hope they're proud of it too, because you're all devoting a lot of your time and energy to being here, you know, and participating in these things and doing the research and talking to people, and you know, your time is valuable, and you've made your time, you know, for the benefit of everyone. So, you know, the town council, the mayor, the town manager, and all the staff members like myself, we appreciate all of this, and you know, we're looking forward to seeing what you folks are going to do. So, there's some other things that the town is working on. Recently, they've announced that we're trying to examine our lighting systems in our town facilities, see if there's ways that we can reduce our energy usage and upgrade some of our equipment to, you know, more modern standards. I think that's something that's going to be a huge help to us. Town statement on equity is something I think we're also working towards. I think that's going to help us a lot. We have a very diverse community. There's a lot of people that live in Rocky Hill, and I think everyone wants to feel that they're part of this community, and that might be a way to help get us to that. I think that's a great thing. Mechanical upgrades to our HVAC system, that's something we've been looking at. Municipal energy plan, that's also something else that the town council has talked about. And I know that Robert Downs, who's been joining us on Zoom, I know he's helped get some of that off the ground. So, Robert, is there anything you'd like to say about some of your interest and experience with energy plans and conservation efforts for public and private sector?
I guess just the scope of my research and a number of faculty in the political science department, and then a number of other departments like agricultural resources and economics, geography, what have you, were focused on the clean energy transition. And right now I'm working on a project looking at offshore wind and the public response to offshore wind off of Cape Cod. So it's sort of, you know, being that that's on my mind a good deal of the time, one of the options that we have, or the Sustainable CT framework, if you go to like sustainableCT.com/actions, you can see all of they're like it's a 10-point frame or plan. There are 10 big subject areas. Let's say number 7 is energy, and one of the things you could do is, you know, host a community education event, and that was the Clean Energy Campaign. We had members from Connecticut League of Conservation Voters, Operation Fuel, Sierra Club, People's Action for Clean Energy Network, which is a group of some actuaries who live in Manchester, and they provided a really comprehensive bit of data to the town. Also had Rep Wood and some of our true town councilors there. So you could see trying to just get people who are on the advocate side, people who are on the, we had Green Bank there, people who are on the industry side, and then people like Ray Carpentino or Councilor Levine was there. So people who are actually our decision makers. So that was the scope of that event. And yeah, what came out of it is now we're trying to work on a municipal energy plan. There are a bunch of sub-items underneath the energy topic in the Sustainable Sea framework. So we're working on stuff like, one of the ideas mentioned was maybe doing a campaign for giving folks or helping them get access to solar panels and heat pumps. And like Jason said, we're revising our municipal energy plan, which entails looking at all of the town vehicles, all of the town light fixtures, and everything related to energy that the town consumes and has to do with supplementing our energy portfolio and addressing these questions of our energy infrastructure. But I don't know, I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, so the event was great. We had a lot of different people. It was kind of just a chance to educate the public, whoever wanted to come, a chance for a lot of different voices to throw in their takes, best practices, and policies for what the municipal and residential level, what people can do to be more efficient, reduce their costs. And yeah, and hopefully, right, the hope of that is we get to have what Jason was talking about, or some substantive outcomes that actually the town council or the town manager takes and puts into policy and practice. So yeah, how's that? Did I miss anything there, Jason?
No, I think that's pretty good. There's some additional items, you know, in that we may be able to achieve in addition to what we've been talking about, trying to, reach out to some of these private companies, that have buildings here in town. There's a lot of opportunities for them if they would like to help, modernize some of their facilities as well. The Connecticut Green Bank, right, is one of the options for them. There's some funding if they ever wanted to take on upgrades. That's something I hope we could talk to the council about too. One of the other things, it's very hard to read on this summary, but to highlight over a second of it here, if I can find it, right there. Sima's actually been doing some work with helping out some of the Muslim students in our Rocky Hill schools. Can you talk about some of the things that you've been working on related to that?
Yes. Yeah, we've been trying to accommodate Muslim students in the Rocky schools, and we created a petition, and residents signed it, and we presented our case in front of the Board of Education in public comment back in December. Haven't heard back about that, and that is something, I don't know, we're planning on attending another meeting to see what they did about that, especially the halal lunch program. Excuse me. Actually, 2 parents from Berlin attended that meeting just to sort of see how we proceeded and all that. And they just went to their Board of Education, and they already started to have halal lunch. Like first in January they had once a month, and then when the February, actually the March menu came, they already got twice a month. So they're halal lunch. So that's why I'm planning on attending another meeting to talk to the board about that.
Oh, that's great.
Simon, if you don't mind me asking, it was about like a lunch program for the school?
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up in Schenectady, New York, which is a couple hours from here, and my community hosted a lot of families from Afghanistan who were fleeing the Taliban in the mid '90s, and I wish we had a program like that there then, because we had a lot of families that were coming to a country that they were unfamiliar with, and every aspect of American life at that time. They had no knowledge of, and they were stepping into a completely foreign situation, and a hot meal that you can rely on every day, I think goes a long way with a young child to feel at home and comfortable in their environment. So I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, the new town of New Britain already has that.
Yeah.
Farmington recently adopted that, so Rocky Hill has to be also join the club. So, and also a couple of things about I don't know if we're gonna go through all of these one by one, or.
Well, that's the thing is I think I may try to keep this meeting a little bit short. With new members, and we have one alternate who wasn't able to join us this evening. We had, with our last format last year, to try to focus on some of the actions for sustainable CT, and try to measure our progress and ask questions, and bring concepts to the task force group as a whole. We created some smaller subcommittees that could do a little bit of work on their own and bring that information back to the public meeting space here at our regular meetings. Unfortunately, the way public meeting law works, if there's too many of us together in a room, or communicating over the phone or over email about some of the items that we want to work on, without the public being notified in advance or being witness to what we're doing, you're essentially having a public meeting without their knowledge. So the subcommittee is a chance for information to bring back to love having conducted a private meeting without the public's knowledge. So our subcommittees tend to be a little bit smaller, and then the work that they do, they of course bring back to us so that we know where they're at, we know what's going on, and the public here knows what's going on too. Some of the actions and task force subcommittees that we developed was based on the interest of the members. So, you know, it was typically 1 or 2 members working on a specific issue, and at each meeting they'd give us a little bit of a report. And I would try to mix up the order of those reports so that the different people had a chance at going first and getting the most energy out of the group before they get tired at the end of the meeting. Because the one member is missing tonight, I thought maybe I would hold off on the subcommittee reports. If you guys could maybe hang on to what you've been working on, and we can talk and bring some of that stuff up when.
Can't hold on to anything.
Right.
It'd also be good too for the newer members to get up to speed on what those subcommittees are and
Sure.
what their purposes.
And that's the nice thing is that, you know, this group can come up with any subcommittees they choose, if they choose to. I think it's a good way of getting some work done outside of our meeting space. But there may be some action items that we haven't worked too hard on, or haven't even had the idea to put into our spreadsheet that we have going here. So there's some actions. You know, there's 12 set actions related to a lot of different issues of sustainability that Sustainable CT recommends to communities to try to go for. But they've also added a 13th, which is kind of create your own. So if there's ideas that we would like to try to pursue, we can talk to Sustainable CT and see if they'll certify us for that action. That's great if they do. If not, we can still pursue it if we think it's, you know, of benefit to the town of Rocky Hill.
There's just one thing that I want to bring up. Ed emailed me a couple of weeks ago, and he said that it looks like that the town is poised not to accept the deep SMM grant.
Oh, really?
Yes, because he's been following the.
Ed who?
the
Chickarella?
yeah,
Chickarella, yeah.
or
I don't know that that's entirely accurate, so I would ask that, you know, you hold off on presuming anything right now. There's other things going on, I think.
Yeah, the last I had heard is that they were still working on a plan. As I said, I don't know what the latest is.
Yeah, I haven't followed up. I haven't
Yeah.
watched the town council, but he said he's been following up, and he just emailed me.
I can see if I can get some more information on
Yeah,
that.
Is
definitely.
Ed still on this council? Is he still on this? Ed?
No, Ed served last year,
Okay.
but he opted not to come back to this group this year. He's
Okay, Derek's not
taking
here either.
some more time at home.
Okay,
Do some
Derek's
other
not
things.
here either.
So I'm not going to say too much, but I do know it's not been refused. That's not an entirely accurate statement. There's other things going on, so you know, I'll reach out to some people and see what information I can find out as well, just to verify.
Yeah, because he said he
I
has
do
reached
believe
out,
it's
he has
on the
written to
record
the
that
mayor
some
and other.
town councilors and the town manager are worried about the particular like marketing variables with the actual deed proposal, and they're finding it's unpopular. Which at this point, right, it's as I believe it, the only actual deed proposal has been implemented in its original form in Meriden, and the Middletown and a few other towns did a composting pilot and implemented some form of the deed plan. Again, this is somewhat conjecture and somewhat what I believe has been stated from the town council.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is we need to avoid conjecture.
My understanding is that the biggest objection to it is this, it's unpopular because it hasn't worked out according to plan, and then the original plan by Deep put forward was not sustainable in terms of the pricing or unit pricing plan that they were trying to get the towns to implement. I think that's all been said at town meetings.
I'll see if I can dig a little bit deeper too on that. I'm happy to see what I can
I'll
put
look
together.
into it as well.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
I just know nothing's been refused. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
So we need to just be careful of hyperbole around that.
Because I'm going to hold off on subcommittee work, I'm also, I think I'm going to hold off on new business, except for the fact that we will need a volunteer to come to the Plan Implementation Committee, which is a subcommittee of planning and zoning that meets to discuss implementation of our plan on conservation and development. Sustainability is part of that, and I think will be probably a larger part of the revised plan on conservation and development that they're going to be working on this upcoming year. So some of the members that we had in our task force last year were coming to PIC meetings and giving updates on what the task force here has been working on. I was curious to see if any members here might be available to go to a PIC meeting, either consistently or periodically. They meet on the first Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. So I'm not sure if anybody has a Wednesday available, but that would be great if somebody was interested in volunteering to just give a quick update to them.
Wednesday our day?
Well, our regular meeting schedule is actually for Mondays. And I try to establish this task force to meet at a time when other groups aren't meeting. But what I've learned from our new membership is that the Monday meetings that I had proposed for this year may not necessarily work out. We have more than one member, I think, that's not going to be able to make Mondays. Because of public meeting law, I have to produce our regular meeting schedule before the first of every calendar year. So those regular meetings are on the books, but if I can't get enough members here to conduct a meeting, then I'm going to have to reschedule every one of those meetings to a different date when I can get somebody here. It creates a lot more work for me because I have to find the space, and I'm happy to do that. But and it isn't your fault as a member for not being able to come to this meeting if you didn't even know when it was going to meet. So I can certainly.
Next meeting's Wednesday, right?
We wanted to have our next meeting, I think, on a Wednesday. I had polled the membership before this meeting about what date would work. This meeting was supposed to be a rescheduling of the regular meeting from the end of February. So even though we're in early March, really it was to try to conduct the February meeting. And then I was going to reschedule our March meeting for later the same week. So originally our regular meeting was scheduled for Monday, the 25th of March, but I'm shooting for Wednesday, the 27th.
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
I have fire department responsibilities that I can't miss.
All right.
That's why when I saw Monday, I was like,
Mondays, yeah. So I'm going to have to.
Sorry.
No, I understand. I'm going to have to see what I can do to try to pick something that's going to work for everyone if I can. If I can't, I may have to ask somebody to either take an alternate position or perhaps leave this board if we can't get enough members together. Let me readdress this tomorrow.
Unless everybody was agreeable to waiting till June. After June, I will be open on Wednesdays in perpetuity.
Yeah.
But for the time being, until June, I'm occupied.
I fully understand. Our bylaws are written in such a way that we have to have a minimum of 6 meetings a year. So it's great to have 12 meetings on the books. But I would love to have more than 6 if I can, because there's a lot of work that we need to do, and I'd like to try to do that. Let me talk to the town manager tomorrow and get some feedback from him, and I'll see what I can do to try to accommodate everyone in the group and see what I can come up with. I can find a room. I'm not worried about that. It's just a question of picking the right night. I'd like to, not have a meeting at the same time as another group. Because there's other members who may want to attend those meetings or serve on those boards. So I don't want to create any additional conflicts. So I will reach out to the membership on that as quickly as I can. As I said, I'm going to be off starting Friday, so I'm going to want to try to resolve that tomorrow if I can, and then I'll post an agenda as well tomorrow. For that, hopefully, so that way we know in advance. I'll have the meeting packets delivered to you guys probably next week, but I'll prepare the packets before I leave. and we can get that moving, and we'll get on track. That also buys a little bit of time for our new member to get trained on what public meetings are all about, and I know I thank all of you for going through the effort of learning about some of those things and how we conduct business, and you know, the importance of how we participate in these meetings. So that said, the announcement of our next meeting, I think we were planning on Wednesday, but I will have to notify our membership tomorrow, and I will post that agenda on our website as well as here around the hall, so the public will know about our final date tomorrow. And I think our future meetings will have more content in it, but I thought this was at least a good start for at least a chance for us to all see each other face to face and get the momentum going. I'm looking forward to what the group can produce this year, and I think at this point I would ask a motion to adjourn.
Well, before we ask the motion to adjourn, so I have, just because we're talking about procedural questions, since we don't have officers yet, once we adjourn, who is responsible for doing the minutes of this meeting?
I can do them.
Okay, cool. That's what I make sure. Awesome. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded. Okay. So moved. Folks, thank you very much for your participation. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, thank you. Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you, Mike, for lending me your cell phone.
Oh, no worries.